And until then, now that the Blackhawks and the Bulls are done for a while, but the Blackhawks lost, unfortunately. So now in Chicago sports, it's all about baseball, baby. And this isn't the worst thing ever because, one, the Chicago Cubs are the number one team in baseball right now, record-wise, as they finished April. So we enter May with both Chicago baseball teams in first place in their respective divisions. That's something to be excited about. Now, before I get into the White Sox and the Cubs, because I have to, it's a local thing, but I just want to go around the MLB a little bit because some interesting happenings going on, I guess. Some surprises. The Phillies are 14-10 at the end of April. Who would have thought that? And the Astros are 7-17 at the bottom of the AL West. So what's going on over there? But I think they'll be fine. Whatever. But there's a lot of storylines going around on the MLB. One, Trevor Story has 10 homers as a rookie for the Rockies. And what about the damn Rockies? Those guys are pesky. They score a lot of runs, but their pitching staff is so terrible that they have a negative run differential. They're among the top in baseball in runs scored, but they're also among the top in runs allowed. So that pitching staff needs work in Colorado, but man, I love their offense. Their offense is fun. Their infield, left to right, that's some good stuff over there. Elsewhere, the Mets. The Mets are doing very well. They're 15-8, a game behind the Washington Nationals, who are also very good this season. So that's going to be an exciting race to watch throughout. I mean, the Mets, yeah, they're good. They're really good. Their pitching staff is solid, more than solid. They have arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now, Noah Syndergaard. Their lineup's picking up the slack, too. They're scoring enough runs. Cespedes has been good so far, so, I mean, can't complain if you're a Mets fan. I mean, they'll definitely be right in the mix of everything come the end of the season, but just some interesting, things to keep an eye on. I mean, the Giants, no team in the NL West right now are above 500, which at the end of April, that's kind of crazy to say, but Giants are in first. That's going to be a competitive division throughout the season. The Giants, Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks are going to be definitely duking it out there throughout. I'm not really taking the Rockies seriously. Can't do it, especially with that staff. There's just no way. So the MLB season's off to a nice start. I'm really enjoying it far, and especially in Chicago, because the Cubs and the White Sox are in first place. And the White Sox especially are surprising some people. And I'm really into the White Sox right now. I'm going to be honest, because one, their pitching staff is solid. Very, very solid, besides John Danks. Now, we could talk about Danks a little bit, because what the hell are you going to do with this guy? You can't keep throwing him out there every fifth day, and then he just gives up ducks all over the place. Like, he can't pitch. He's not good anymore. So, I mean, what the hell are they going to do with him? They can't send... Okay, it's going to be hard for them to trade him, obviously, because he's making $13 million, and you're not going to really move... I mean, you can move him to the bullpen, but then you need a guy to fill a spot. Miguel Gonzalez, possibly. Carson Fulmer, possibly. But Carson Fulmer needs time to develop. I don't think... If it is a possibility for him to contribute to this team, it might be in the bullpen first, and then they ease him into the rotation. But is it early to have Carson Fulmer as your starter? Maybe. But if they're in the midst of a playoff race and you believe this kid can do it, especially in June or July, hell yeah, call his ass up, get Danks out of there, move him to the bullpen or something, and put a quality starter in there, because this guy can't do anything anymore. It's frustrating. I'm not even a White Sox fan. It's frustrating to watch him pitch, because like, they go into the games like, damn it, we got to score at least 6 runs, and that's probably not even going to be enough. So yeah, Danks sucks, but everybody else is doing really well. Carlos Rodon, very, very pleasant surprise. I mean, a lot of people were expecting him to do well, but still, he was inconsistent for parts of 2015. He had that one bad start in 2016, but other than that, he's been very, very solid. Chris Sale. He's changing his way of going about attacking hitters. He's not, because he'll go from 91 with his fastball, all of a sudden he'll ramp it up to 97. And that's an approach where he wants to limit his pitch count and save his arm. He wants to put the ball in play more. He wants the ball in play more because he relies on his defense now. He has a pretty decent set of defenders behind him, and that's something that the White Sox haven't had in a long time, especially since Chris Sale's been there. They were at the bottom of the league last year for sure in almost every fielding metric stat. So and it was obvious to the naked eye that you could see that this defense didn't know what the hell they were doing. But overall, you knew what you were going to get from Sale going into the season. This guy is a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball, probably going to win the Cy Young in the AL. Good for them with Sale and Rodon. And then you have Quintana, Mr. Reliable out there, and they're actually scoring runs for this guy. So those are 3 pitchers that if you go into a series that you have a chance to sweep straight up, and you feel like you can win 2 out of 3 with those guys at the very least. You're going to go into the game thinking that you're going to win because this pitching staff is going to have your back. And on top of that, Matt Latos. I know Matt Latos struggled in his last start. What was it? Last couple days ago, whatever. This is May 1st as I record this podcast. So overall, Matt Latos has been a very, very pleasant surprise for the White Sox. At $3 million, that's a value and a half for the production he's bringing to this team. But then you have Danks. So bad. But they're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be soon. I have a feeling that they got to do something, because if the White Sox are serious about this run that they're on, 18-8, that's some good stuff, guys. Like, you need to get Danks out of there soon. Now, he's not the problem. He's not the reason why the White Sox wouldn't make the playoffs. But still, you need a capable every 5th starter. You just got to have that. And Danks is not it. Other stuff I'm excited about with this White Sox team, Adam Eaton. Adam Eaton is arguably the best right fielder in baseball. And that's crazy to say because he was so inconsistent in center last year, but it seems like he's really taking to right field. 1, he's got that strong arm. And 2, he's reading the ball off the bat so much better. You can see it. It's such a relief to see a guy who can play the outfield. He has great range, a great arm, good instincts, but he just couldn't put it together in center. But then all of a sudden in right, he's just killing it. So that's exciting. And he's also hitting. He's also doing his job at the stick. Now, he's not trying to do too much like last year. And that goes for almost everyone on this team. They struggled very, very mightily in April and last season. And that also had to do with a reason why they sucked. I mean, right away, they got swept by the Royals. And you're like, oh boy, it's going to be a long year. And Adam Eaton even said that. He said that the locker room was affected by the sweep of the Royals to start the season. But this year, it's a different story. New leaders in the clubhouse. Jimmy Rollins, Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier hitting .220 to end April. Slow start, but he's providing the power, and he's great at third, making almost every play. Avi, what are you going to do with Avi? Do the White Sox make a move for a right fielder at the deadline? Because, you're going to need another bat for Avi, because he still kind of looks lost out there. The guy, he has such a different sound when the ball comes off the bat, but he's still swinging at balls in the dirt. He's still taking rough approaches at the plate, and that affects his playing time. He's not able to drive in runs with runners in scoring position. Got to be better. But overall, you can definitely put your chips in this basket for the White Sox to make a run in the playoffs. They absolutely have what it takes. And let me say this. You look at the Kansas City Royals, AL champions and the World Series champions last 2 years. This team got to the World Series, yes, on timely hitting and not striking out a lot. Obviously, their offense had a lot to do with their success, but that bullpen, especially the back end, they were shut down. No team could score off of the 7th, 8th, and 9th guys out of Kansas City. Now, we look at the White Sox, and what do they have? A 7th, 8th, and 9th reliever, lockdown relievers. Matt Albers was one of the most underrated signings that the White Sox made all season. He is absolutely dominating out of the pen. He had, I don't know how many innings, it was like 30 innings in a row where he didn't let up a run. He's like a cat, baby. Like a cat. Matt Albers, killing it. And he's somebody that you can rely on in the 8th inning, even in the 7th. Now, Nate Jones as well, getting healthy. Boy, what a boost he brings out of the pen. 98, consistent. Nate Jones is a very reliable piece in the back end. So you setting up the 9th for Robertson with a lead. You can win one ball games with Albers and Jones coming in. May I say Zach Duke is having a solid season thus far? I mean, he's still struggling with command, but he's not the worst option out of the pen for a lefty-lefty specialist. I mean, he I mean, if I looked at his splits, I think he's okay against righties too. So that's another solid option. You have Zach Duke. And I'm not going to mention Putnam and Petrichka because now with them, it's good for them that they have Albers and Jones and Duke and Robertson at the back end because now that takes pressure away from Petrichka and Putnam so they can pitch in less stressful innings, less stressful situations. So overall, I am buying into this White Sox team. I know it's only April, but absolutely.